All right, this is Moses at 316 MMA, and I have the privilege of interviewing my boss, Cody Bitler. He's been in the fight game for a while. He's known in Hawaii, California, definitely now in Wichita. He is growing big. He's blowing it up. So I'm going to go ahead and start asking him a couple questions. So, Cody, what's up, brother? It's good to see you, man. Thanks for the opportunity. So let me ask you this. What got you into the fight game?
I started wrestling when I was 4, and every year we would go do Tulsa Nationals, and after Tulsa Nationals was right around the time UFC 1 started.
Okay.
So I actually got done with Tulsa Nationals when I was 8 or 9, went home, and back then I think it was Cablevision.
Yes, it was.
My grandpa had the Dish Network, and we rented the very first UFC, and I watched it, and he told me that I was a mean wrestler and that I should take a look at doing that when I got older. And every year after Tulsa, we would drive by the big Army guy and then head home and watch the UFCs, and that's kind of how it kind of got brought into me.
That is very cool. That's very different. That's very different. When you were fighting, what did you want to accomplish? Did you just want to compete, or did you want to just, did you want to reach the highest level possible? What was your goals at that point?
My goals were really to just make a living at it. It was like I just wanted to be a professional athlete. Ever since I was a kid, that's kind of what I didn't ever have a vision of a family. I didn't have a vision of a wife, nothing like that. It was either baseball, football, wrestling, or fighting. That was really it. And we grew up racing dirt bikes too, and that kind of took over for a certain part, but most of it was just to be a professional athlete.
That's good. Hey, I do remember you telling me basically your beginnings after you left Wichita and headed out west. You want to talk about that really quick? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, this is all you. This is your stage. If you don't want to, that's cool. We'll move right on.
No, that's all right.
So I know you had it tough, brother. I know you did.
I just got into a lot of trouble. High school wasn't too great. Really tried. I went to a lot of different high schools. 4 or 5 different high schools. I ended up to go to.
Bro, that's a lot of high schools.
I had to go to a Clearwater Connections to get credits to finish my graduation and everything, so I could walk with my class. I wrestled from 4 until out of college, but in high school I only wrestled my senior year, so I kind of got a little bit of heat from coaches, old teammates, parents, just kind of fucking around and running with the wrong people.
Hey, don't we all? I mean, for real, even if you're, Mr., bow tie and everything, you still, sometimes it happens.
Yep.
So let me go ahead and ask you this now, because this is how I met you. You got this great gym here. You got some dogs up in here for real, and it's so impressive. Just watch them perform and do their thing. As a coach, how does that make you feel? When you're watching your guys, when you're training them. Because I've been to a training session of yours, and when you talk, everybody, and nobody's talking in the background. Everybody's like, So I mean, they trust you. How do you feel when you're coaching? What do you hope to accomplish on that level?
Well, it all kind of comes down from Little League wrestling. We had I don't know, like maybe 10 of us that were all around the same weight.
Okay.
And then a whole bunch of dads that were around the same ages. And so they all kind of went to high schools around the same time, knew each other, and then would have, in practice, they would say, like, hey, Josh is over there. He's whooping on your ass.
Pit fighting.
So it was almost like fighting dogs. And, the coaches there is John Chrisman was a coach of mine, and he always he would get on our ass if we were talking. He'd be like, quiet as a church mouse. So we was no talking when coach was talking. And, it's a lot of that stuff you don't realize when you're that young, just how important all that stuff is.
Yep.
And then I kind of I've been privileged to be around a lot of really high level and great coaching. And I've taken a little bit from every single one of them and kind of molded it into how I teach. I wouldn't say it's a militant style of teaching, but it's definitely like get the attention, get your point out, and then get to work. So
I like that a lot because I know I spoke to one of your fighters, when he was preparing for his fight, and he's had a lot of fights. I'm not going to mention him because I'm going to interview him later. So, but he said he was just telling me, and we were just just shooting the breeze, and he said that you taught him a different technique of striking, something that he's never seen before, and he was like, whoa, okay, yeah, I mean, you know your stuff, and he vibed off of that. He really did, and of course, he went out there, and of course, his belt's right there. He won it
Yeah.
right there. So,
Okay.
and that was cool for me to hear because, I don't really sit in on the training sessions, but I hear you, and I get that. But when somebody else says it, somebody who's a veteran in the game says that, I mean, that's big. It's not
We're all
little.
looking for validation of some sort, right? And
Yeah.
to have somebody that's got 40 plus fights, and then to have somebody like David trust me, have somebody like Chris trust me to train them towards the end of their careers was a big deal for me.
Dave Rickles and Chris Harris, just so we're clear. And the guy I was talking about who won that belt is Tyler Stinson. So I just wanted to get that out there. So we got names going
between
out there.
The three of them, there's 120 fights.
Oh, plenty.
If not more. So
could you imagine the training hours? How about this? With all of you guys, how many training hours that is? That's a lot.
It's a lot of lifetimes.
That's a lot. That's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So when you're getting ready to go out there with your fighters, whether it's a smoker or whether it's a EFC or something like that, or Synergy, or Shamrock FC, how do you get your guys mentally ready?
Just the psychology of every person's different, right? There's some people I got to put a foot in their ass, and then there's some people that I have to fluff their pillow before they get out there. Like all of us kind of have our own way of doing things, and it's kind of up to the coach to know what type of guy that is or woman, and how to handle them on fight week, fight days, fight nights. And the more you're around them, the more you get to know them, the more you have one-on-ones and you train with them, the more you kind of understand and kind of have to cater to them.
I like that answer because it's true. It's
very true.
It is very,
a lot of
very
divas.
true. Yeah, yeah. Well, the guys that you gave me an opportunity to corner some guys, and I really appreciate that. I hope to do it again soon. But I learned that exactly what you're saying is true, because I have guys that are two different guys, and one guy I just had to talk to him, and the other one I had to shut him up, like, dude, bring it down, sit down. Just,
one's gonna jump off the bridge, and the other one's gonna climb it.
Yes. So exactly. So the big picture is then, overall, because you've got this great gym, you have a lot of great fighters, you got a lot of tough guys in here. What is the overall impact for what you want to accomplish by training these guys? What is your big reveal?
I think I got 3 guys in here right now that will outwork anybody any day of the week. Very capable of fighting at the highest level, and my job is to get them to the highest level, and I'll do everything in my power to get them to where they need to go or where they want to go. As long as they show me what I want to see, I'll put just as much effort into them as they put into the gym and training.
That is regular. I don't even know if I have any more answers here. Let me see here. Nope, we got that. So what would you say to, let's say some kid, doesn't have a real wrestling background. He doesn't have a fight background at all, but he wants to come in, he wants to learn. He is like a blank slate. Let's say he's, 20s, 30s, maybe 40s, I don't know. But what would you say as they come in the door and say, hey, I'm here for jiu-jitsu, or I'm here to kickbox, but I want to learn. What would you tell them?
Well, we have a lot of fighters in here that train with, weekend warriors and everyday Joes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one of the things that I like about our gym the most, is that we've created an atmosphere for people that are at the highest level of their sport, that are capable of training with people that are, let's say, somebody that works at a bank, or somebody that's in HR, or somebody that works at a grocery store, or even a teenager that's an asshole. So, they're able to keep their composure and train with every single person, and they don't have to worry about having things turn into a big dick contest. And just, everybody here trains hard. Everybody here is, if it's jiu-jitsu, they're going to go for submissions. They're going to grapple hard within reason. And it's just, the culture that we're trying to push here is just to make everybody better every single day.
I like that you guys are really putting a really good culture together. You can see how these guys mesh. I know on the group chat, everybody's ribbing each other, but all in all, it's all in good fun, and they play hard, they work hard. you definitely got some champions up in here, and it is very, very cool. And this is for anybody who's watching this. They really need to. This guy has so much information. He has so much knowledge up here. If you are not asking him questions, if they're not asking you questions, I mean, you're really wasting. They're really wasting time. You're really wasting time if you don't do this. You have some of the best coaches that I've ever seen, so take advantage of this. I mean, this is an opportunity. This is your opportunity. If you're in the area, do it. And that's the biggest thing I could say.
It's like the one thing that I think that we have here that I didn't have personally was the camaraderie between teammates. I had it at the beginning of my career. Well, as an amateur, I never turned pro, but at the beginning of my career, I trained with Andy Zerger with the rest of everybody else from around here. So, my thing that I like to say is that we all come from the same nut, and we all learned and trained together. Most of us came up the same spot that are around my age, maybe a little older, a little younger. And at this gym, we have a lot of guys that are in it together and are fighting. So we have guys that are here to make sure that they got somebody to train with. If you're not fighting, you got other people here that are going to make sure that you're ready for fight.
Yeah,
I did a lot of my stuff on my own, which is probably why, my career ended up the way that it did.
Well, as I don't know about as a fighter, but I know as a coach, as a trainer, you're pretty darn successful. I love coming in. I love the atmosphere. I love watching these guys perform. I enjoy watching how you communicate with them before the fights, during fights, and after fights. That to me, I'm watching and I'm learning. And you're constantly mentoring these guys, whether they even know it or not. And they know, they know the top dogs who. Okay, coach is talking. I'm listening. And I like that a lot. Even for the new guys that were in the smoker that were just doing it just to do it. That was fun. That was fun to watch. So for anybody wanting to try it, I mean, come on out, because 316 MMA is really where it's at. You mentioned Andy Zerger. I got him on my Facebook and on my Instagram, but I've never met him.
He's a sweetheart of a human being.
I think I might reach out to him sometime and just kind of pick his brain a little bit and probably interview him, because I do notice that a lot of the guys, it's like a pyramid. You got one guy who started it all or was training everybody, and then everybody's branching off and doing their own thing, which is cool.
Yeah, I think I walked into his gym 2005, 2006. So I was like, when I started training, it was before The Ultimate Fighter was on TV, I think. I don't think that there was a TV show for it. I think YouTube was just barely around. We didn't ever know who we were fighting. We would just show up. Most of them were on Indian reservations. You just show up and figure out who you were fighting the day of, So, it was I had a lot of good mentors. So I'm trying to take what I took and pass it on to the next generation. So whenever I'm not around, I have a son, and hopefully he comes up through this too.
Super cute.
Hopefully he comes up through this too, and he's able to take what he wants from it. And it's not just about how you guys do in here and in your fights. It's like I want people to do well in life, and I took a lot of wrong turns in my life, but it led here, so couldn't be more appreciative to where I'm at and for the people that helped me out along the way.
For somebody who doesn't do interviews, you did pretty darn good. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, brother. Thank you very much. Hey, man, it is a wrap, and it is an honor to do this. I have 2 more coaches to do. It's going to be fun. So if you haven't seen the one with Chris Harris, go check it out. This is Cody Bitler, and that's all I got to say. Thank you. All right, brother. That was awesome. Thank you.